Now to our main topic for the day, something that has been in the front burner since President Buhari assumed office in May of 2015, and that's his mantra: the war against corruption. It's a big fight he's been about, and the searchlight has been beamed on every strata of society, with some even suggesting that the president's war on graft has been selective, tainted, not too straightforward, and an attempt to also silence the opposition. But in an intriguing twist of events, the tables seem to have turned, this time with the spotlight being beamed on some of the president's men. A report from the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on the Northeast Humanitarian Crisis found the SGF, that's the acronym for the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, culpable in the diversion of funds meant for internally displaced persons in Nigeria's Northeast. Another security report from the Directorate of Security Services, that's the DSS, which indicted the acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for corruption, also led to his non-confirmation of him by the Senate. We're talking about the rejection there by the Senate. Now that all eyes are on the president's men, how will the matter be handled? Should both men resign their positions on allegations of what we have seen from the Senate or from the security report while investigations are ongoing, or will the matter be swept under the carpet? Now, to shed some light on this matter, I'm being joined on the program by a policy analyst and editor-in-chief of national daily newspapers, Sylvester Ewodage. Good evening, and good to have you join us. I've been looking at the papers, and what comes to mind is we have had people coming from all sides to talk about this, for and against, trying to put meaning into all of what we're seeing. And some other time, they put the blame on the doorstep of the media. They think that the media is trying to cook up stories. And I say, hey, we should get someone like you to come tell us more on this. But again, looking at these two individuals who are very close, they're under the executive arm of government, they fall within the direct purview of the president. What does this mean in the fight against corruption?
Thank you very much. It's a pretty good question you've asked. You know, it's quite not a very pleasant development in our polity. Like you did remark, the president ran strongly on the war on corruption, and close to about 20 months of his, about 20 months or 19 months in office, all he has done has been majorly to fight corruption. And we often hear that when you fight corruption, corruption has a way of fighting back. But little did we expect that pretty soon this war on corruption would have to be fought in his very own living room, if you permit me to say. Clearly, it poses a serious question mark on the efforts of the president with regards to the war on corruption. And whether you like it or not, that's what it is. Because these are critical stakeholders in his administration. The EFCC has been at the forefront, likewise the DSS. And now, somebody trying to blame the media, I don't quite get it, because was there no report? Was there a report in the first place? Who conducted that investigation? I'm not aware it was a media house that did. A government agency under the direct supervision of the executive arm, indicting another head of a government agency under the direct supervision of the executive arm. So there's a problem.
Assuming without conceding, no one is saying these officers, these gentlemen are guilty. But if you look at what we have seen from the SSS, does that give an indication that the fight is genuine after all, not minding the fact that this is another arm of government which falls directly on the presidency?
Again, I think what I would rather want to look at is, right now we don't really know which report we're talking about. Because somehow we seem to be told that there are two separate reports. Could the DSS have conducted an investigation and forwarded same report of same to the Senate ad hoc committee without the president being aware? Is it possible? On whose instruction? I know that the DSS, any of the government anti-corruption agency or security agencies, any of them can, on its own, initiate an investigation. But I think what I'm looking at is, which report are we dealing with? We hear that there's a report with the presidency that had reached the president even before that nomination was sent. So is it that this report that went to the Senate ad hoc committee was padded? Is it different from what the president had?
You know, in all of this, we have potpourri of reports there within the Senate. That's one where you're talking about the ad hoc committee that that went into the affairs of the SGF and his company, looking at role of vision. And we're also looking at the one that the security report on the activities of Mr. Magu.
Mr. Magu, to be precise. Now, again, my concern, and which I think every genuine Nigerian has at the moment, is what is Mr. President saying in all of these?
If you're asking that question, can I take you back a bit and also remind you, before this, we had seen and also heard the First Lady. She warned about men around the president. She also used the word kitchen cabinet. And if you look at it, some of the officers we're talking about could well fall within that nomenclature and say these are the kitchen cabinet members. Is this an indication that the First Lady was right after all?
Clearly, she's been justified. She's been vindicated that indeed what she said was at play, and this infighting, like I did remark, poses a serious question mark on the anti-corruption credentials of the current administration. And the way the presidency, or as it were, the administration handles this matter would go a long way to either nail its coffin on the war on corruption or rekindle, as it were, the zeal of Nigerians, that indeed the president means what he says, and indeed this war on corruption is not selective, is not targeted at those believed to be in opposition, and that it is with Nigeria in mind. Now, I'm not saying that neither Magu nor the SGF is guilty, but I'm saying, like they say in our local parlance, there is no smoke without fire. I think certainly something is not right somewhere.
That is a place we would like to come to when we come back after now. We'd like to look at this fire, which some are already getting to see the smoke, because the questions many have been asking is that there is an office of the NSA, there is an NSA, and definitely the DSS report must definitely go through the office of the NSA before it gets to the Senate, and the NSA should, as a matter of his obligation, liaise and speak with the president almost on a daily or minute-by-minute basis. Did that go through the office of the NSA? Was there any kind of hanky-panky, when we talk about reports coming in and, going over the office of the NSA, getting into the Senate chamber? But in all of this, what people would love to know is, how well is the president and his men on the fight against corruption? That's when we come back.